Hi, welcome to Local Flamer. My name is Øystein Solberg. We're here at the Institute for Culinary Arts. Together with us here today, we got Chef Michael Combs.
Thanks for having me, Øystein.
Thank you for being here. We never do anything together anymore, so I'm very, very excited for this.
No, we don't.
Yeah, like this is going to be a good day. So, plan for you guys today, we're going to make gnocchi, which is like a old Italian dumpling, basically. Like it's a potato dumpling. Very, very delicious. And then what else we got going on?
We'll be doing some ricotta, some fresh ricotta. Very easy to make. It won't take very long at all. It probably takes maybe about 30 minutes tops and maybe about 5 minutes worth of work, so it really doesn't take long at all. So
that sounds like my favorite thing right there.
Yeah, really quick dish. This whole dish, I think, will be
beautiful, beautiful. Hey, so start out. We got some potatoes here, russet potatoes. So you're just gonna go over and fork all of them. Now the reason we're forking them is that whenever we bake them, they'll just release more of their steam, and you'll get more of a mealy potato. So these ones I already got some already.
So why do you bake them instead of boiling them?
I like baking them because they just release more steam. Like if you boil them, then a lot of that water is just gonna pull in there.
Sure.
And then you gotta dry it out more afterwards, and I don't know, you just don't get as mealy of a potato.
Right.
Just more chance of just kind of getting.
So you don't want any excess water in there. You basically want to get it as dry as you can.
Exactly. Yep. You just get a little bit of oil on there. Just a little drizzle. A little bit of salt, and just rub it all on there. So the salt as well will just help draw moisture out. Like it's just one of the wonderful things about it. It's like completely magic. Just get it nice and coated on there. So basically, it's like making a baked potato at this point.
Sure.
Just super, super easy.
So about 360, 350 degrees for about an hour or so?
Yep.
Okay.
It's going to depend a lot on your oven, because like a lot of home ovens might not have convection and so forth.
Sure.
So it's gonna vary a lot. But a way of testing it is just using a paring knife or like a steak knife or something, and just go in and check.
Sure.
Because like you don't want to cook them too much, because then it's just gonna be hollow and all sorts of funky. So just kind of start checking them after a half hour, and then you'll kind of see how they come along.
How they're done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cook them until they're done. That's how it works. Okay, so what about this ricotta here? What do you got for us?
Okay, so we have ricotta here. All this is there's a certain ratio, and actually the recipes will be on the web, on our website. All this is a little bit of whole milk. You have to have whole milk. You don't use skim milk or anything like that. It's got to be whole milk, and some whole cream.
Beautiful.
So what we're going to do is get this to about 190 degrees. You don't want to get this too hot, but you have to get it hot enough so that way it curdles. And then we're going to add some acid. You can do, go for it.
Whee!
Thank you, sir. And you can add lemon juice if you want. You can add white vinegar. This is a combination of lemon juice and some white vinegar.
Yeah.
And this is perfect. Look at that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So right away it starts to curdle. So we have the temperature right on. And you can see it's starting to separate the proteins from the whey. And this is exactly what we want. So
it's beautiful.
What we're going to do is we will turn this off now, and we're going to let it set. Right back here we have one that's ready to go. So I'm going to set this aside. And you can let this set for about 10 minutes, anywhere from 10 minutes to 20, 30 minutes, whatever you want it to do, just to
kind of let the curd set up a little bit. Beautiful.
To
beautiful.
whatever size curd you want. Sometimes they're a little finer than what you would want, but then also this right here is actually, if you look at it, it's a little more finer, these curds are, than this one's going to be. You can tell already.
Yeah.
And so
beautiful.
All we're going to do, this one's been setting for about 20 minutes now.
Yep.
And so what we're going to do is we're just going to pour it in some cheesecloth. It's just double-lined cheesecloth and a strainer, a sieve here. And so that way it separates the curds and the whey. Kind of like
beautiful.
Curds and the whey.
Isn't that a song?
Yes, it's part of a song.
Yeah.
And so, and then this you can set aside, you can put it in your fridge, and really you just let it sit as long as you want as far as moisture goes. So if you want it to be a little bit more moist, then don't let it sit as long. If you want it to be drier, then let it sit as long as you want. You can even put the cheesecloth on top, and you can add weight to it too if you really want it dry.
Yeah.
Depending on the application or what you're going to do with it.
Because you can just wrap it up, put it in the fridge, and then you can crumble it the next day for like a salad or something.
And you can just
and you
can hold it in your fridge probably for, I'd say, a couple of weeks, a few weeks.
Beautiful.
Just like regular ricotta, and it's cheap. It's a lot cheaper than buying it from the
store. Yeah, because it's normally a byproduct. Like after you're making mozzarella or any other cheese, they usually take the whey from that and do like a reboil on it.
That's right.
So like,
and they take the rest of the curds out of it, and then they get ricotta.
Yeah, because like when making ricotta, like you get you get your liquid a little bit higher than most cheese. So it just allows for a little bit better yield out of it.
Yeah, and it's a very quick cheese. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it really didn't take us long at all. And what you can also add seasonings to it. So you can do all kinds of things with this ricotta. You can add some herbs, which we'll probably do later on. A little bit of salt, pepper, whatever you want to do to season it up. So
Beautiful. So is there anything that we can use the whey for? Like,
you can put it in your garden. You can put it in your garden. You can feed it to your dog. It's got protein and whatnot in it. So
beautiful, and it's still rich in calcium. It's good for like roses and tomatoes and all those
exactly.
fun. That's awesome. That's good to know. I feel like I learned a whole heap lot already. Awesome. But we're going to go to a little break. We're going to let this sit and drain, and then we'll be back in a little bit, and then we'll start making some gnocchi. So just stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hi, then we're back here again at the Institute for Culinary Arts, where we're gonna start making some gnocchi.
yes,
I'm excited.
really easy to do.
So easy, so easy. Okay, so our potatoes have been in the oven for about 30 minutes. They're pretty nice and soft. So checking them, just use a paring knife. If it just slides in there easily, they're all done, just like magic. Okay, so right here I got a potato ricer. Just makes it super easy, just getting them riced.
Looks like a big garlic press.
It basically is. It's just a good way of just getting them very fine without working the potato too much.
Right, because they start to release starches and they get
Exactly.
kind of tough.
Yeah. Oh, nobody likes a tough dumpling. That's never good. So I'm just gonna split these potatoes in half. Like so. There. Nice and soft.
Yeah, they look great.
And just use a spoon and just scoop all of that flesh out of there. I love me some dumplings.
And you can use those skins for twice baked potatoes. You
Oh.
can use them for some fried
Now you're
potato
talking.
skins,
now you're
bacon,
talking-
cheese,
Now
sour
you're,
cream,
now you're talking dirty to me, Mike.
health food.
Yeah. Mary's gonna hate us. We just scoop it all out of there. And these are hot, so like I don't have any feeling in my fingers, so it works kind of okay. But for most other people, you can wear a couple of gloves and just.
Or you can use a towel too. Put a towel down.
Towel works great. Yeah. I just don't have any feeling
Yeah,
anymore.
I'm the same way. We're used to handling hot stuff.
Yeah. And we'll just scoop it all out. Like so.
Well, so they're looking like they're already they're pretty dry already, which is a good thing
Yeah.
because we don't want all that moisture in there.
Yep. It just means the salt did its job. The oven just drew that humidity out of there. So they're just nice and mealy. That type of potato you're using too plays a big factor. Like you can't really use like a Yukon, or you can't you can't use Yukon because they
Sure.
just get kind
So
of
you don't
funky.
want a waxy potato. You want like a mealy potato.
Exactly.
Like an Idaho or a russet.
Yep, they work a lot better. So I just jam some potatoes in here. And then the trick when ricing these, if you rice, because like they're still pretty hot and they're giving off steam. So when you rice them, just rice them out flat. Because if you rice them into a bowl, all that steam is just gonna get trapped in there,
Sure.
and then you're just gonna start weighing themselves down.
And this is just lined with plastic.
Yep. Because I got a little trick up my sleeve.
Okay.
Because I don't like doing too much dishes, and because I tend to get kind of messy.
I agree. I'm not a dish person myself.
Yeah. Like if that's all I'm doing, it's totally fine. It's a lot of fun. But we just scoop it all in there.
So they're already beginning to cool down. You can see the steam coming off of them.
Yep. All that moisture. So like these are just continuing to dry out, and just makes it super
so the drier, the
easy.
better.
Yeah, yeah. Like they can't really be dry enough. Like you always want them dry, dry, dry.
Awesome.
Right there. And then we got 1 egg. I'm just gonna beat that up a little bit. Sounds very violent when I say that, but so. And the good thing about getting them flat as well, that when you're going to start mixing this, like you don't want to put it in the blender and just beat it, because then it's just going to get gummy just due to the starches.
Right, because the starches, the molecules open up and they get starch molecules, they get all starchy and pasty.
Oh. So that way you can just kind of sprinkle the eggs on there, like so.
So assume you'll do it very quickly, that way you don't have scrambled eggs.
Exactly, exactly. And then we got flour, and then you can just sprinkle that on there. Just kind of like a nice even layer. So normally for about 3 potatoes, it'll take about half a cup or so.
Okay.
It depends a little bit on the size of your potatoes and stuff like that. But
sure.
I usually add a little bit less at this point, and then you can always add more in when you start rolling them out and putting it all together. And then I just got a dough scraper, and just kind of start folding it together.
Now you can see it starting to come together.
Yeah, so it looks just very dry and funky at this point, but once it sits and rests, like the eggs and the potatoes are just going to absorb that flour and just make it into a dough.
So basically, it'll only take what it needs. Otherwise, it just won't take it. The flour will it'll remain dry on the outside. So it won't take what it needs.
Right there. So I'm just barely putting it together. Right there. And then now for my little trick.
Ah, okay.
Okay, so instead of, I can just use this plastic wrap.
Oh, that is a neat little trick. And now you don't have a dirty tray either. And
Exactly.
you can use that to wrap it up and rest it.
Beautiful, isn't it? I still make a little bit of mess though. Nobody's perfect, I guess. There we go.
So do you just leave this out, or do you put it in the fridge?
As long as you can certainly make the dough a day before and put it in the fridge, works fine. Since like this one, as long as I'm going to cook them kind of right then and there, I just leave it out, let it sit and rest for about half hour. You can sit up to an hour or two and it works totally fine. It just allows the flour to get fully absorbed and just a little bit easier to work with.
Well, it makes sense. So that way you don't have any dry pockets and that sort of thing.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay, so now we're just going to stand here and watch this one just do its things for a half hour, or do you have something up your sleeve maybe?
I do. Actually, we have some here that has already been rested. So this has been sitting for about 30 minutes. And we're going to take a little bit of flour. We don't want to waste, so we're going to use whatever flour that we have left over here. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit on our work surface here. This is a clean work surface, sanitized work surface. And so, and my hands are clean, of course. My hands are always clean, I'm a chef. And so...
I can take that one for you.
All right, thank you, sir.
Oh, of course.
And we have a bench scraper here. So this is really simple. You don't want to overwork this this gnocchi either, because it's got potato starch in there, and it has a flour and egg, obviously, because you just saw that. But we don't want to overwork it, because if we do, then it's going to get really pasty and it's going to get really tough.
Yeah.
So that's what you don't want to do. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these in segments here.
And the same will happen if you add too much flour. Like if it's too much flour, it'll just get very, I don't know, like bread-like almost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you don't want to develop gluten in this.
Yeah.
You don't want to, because that's what keeps it tender. Because if you develop gluten, like what you have in bread, that's what gives it that pull and that. And whatnot. So we don't want that. And so very simple. I'll set these over here. We're gonna roll this out. Just very simple. And really, it's just a rustic dumpling. Basically, is what it is.
Yep.
And so you can make these as large as you like, as small as you like. And this is probably a good thing here.
But like there's other types of gnocchi as well. Like this is kind of like the Italian version. Like once potatoes came to Europe, a lot of people say like there's some South American type kind of dumplings too that kind of came with them. But the Italians are certainly famous for it, but potatoes didn't get there until a little bit later. And
there's also like Parisian Parisian gnocchi, which is basically like a pâte choux.
Perfect.
With potatoes, so it's kind of a different. That one takes a little bit more skill, I think, with a pâte choux for sure.
Yeah. But it's a very, very, very nice and light one too. Like it's very tasty. Yeah.
I like it. I really enjoy it. And it's because of the the pate choux, and it allows it to kind of rise. But it has a little egg.
Yeah, it's very puffy. Yeah,
exactly. So basically, what we're going to do is I'm making these little dumplings here. Now you can either use a fork, the tines of a fork, the back of a fork, if you have a fork, of course. And so all we're going to do is we're going to kind of, these ones are a little difficult, a little more, in my opinion. I don't really like using the fork, but if you have them at home, this is kind of what you want to use. Okay, so you kind of roll them on the back of a fork, and just real light. It's harder to get those indentations. But what I like to use is a gnocchi board. They're very inexpensive and they last for years. I mean, you really aren't going to do anything crazy with it, like wash the dishwasher. You don't want to do that. And so what I'll do is I'm going to just very quick, just roll it from the fingertips all the way to my palms.
Yeah.
And I'll set them down, and I'll do the same thing. And I just go through all these just like that. See that?
Because what do you want the ridges on there? Like, what's the purpose of the ridges?
We want the ridges to hold sauce. Is what you want. So if we have like some of those pastas that you see, well, all the pastas that you see with ridges, those are made to hold sauce.
Yeah.
And so it really, everything has its purpose as far as pasta goes. There's probably 2,000 different types of pastas out there.
Oh yeah.
And they're all for a purpose. Some of them for holding heavy sauces, some for light sauces.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. And so
it's awesome.
Very, very simple. So all we're going to do is we're going to drop these in the water. We got some boiling salted water. We're just going to drop these in here. And we'll know when they're done because they're going to start to float.
Yeah.
And when they start to float, we will pull them out and we'll let them cool down. And once they're cool, or you don't really have to let them cool down, we're going to saute them.
And just eat it and be merry about it.
That's right.
I like it.
And they're going to be delicious. So
yeah.
That'll be on our next segment.
So one way you can tell, like, if you've got enough flour, or if you need more flour in your dough, like if they start to shed a little bit once they get in the water.
Yes.
Like, so if you do like a little test one first, then you'll see if you're going to need to add more flour to make them hold together and so forth. But these puppies seems to be holding up pretty good.
No,
so
they're looking good.
I think we'll be dandy. Yeah. So good. The water is salted, just kind of light salt water. You're just gonna make them nice and bubbly. And so as soon as these ones starts floating, which should be pretty shortly, I just used a tray that I didn't make dirty because I used the plastic wrap by magic.
Good idea. There you go. So you can utilize things in the kitchen without having to do all these dishes. Or
oh, I hate dishes.
We never do dishes. Usually when I cook at home, I usually cook and my wife does the dishes. That's our I guess we don't really verbalize it, but that's the way it happens.
It's just an unwritten rule.
Yeah. Exactly. I cook, she does the dishes.
Yeah. So they're just starting to kind of float here right now. They're pretty close. So once these come out, we're just gonna pop them on here, and we're gonna keep rolling and keep poaching. Then we got, oh, there they come. Because if you leave this in there too long, they're just gonna become waterlogged, and then it'll be real funky.
Because we're gonna saute those next.
Yep. Oh, just wonderful little dumplings. But while we finish up these gnocchis, we got a couple of words from Mary Watson. She's part of our faculty here, and she's a registered dietitian, and she got a word or two on healthy things. So stay tuned, see what Mary has to say, and we'll be right back.
I learned to enjoy gnocchi when I lived on the East Coast, so thank you, Chef Øystein, for showing us how to make this potato pasta. Potatoes are an excellent source of vitamin C, and they are also considered a starchy vegetable according to the Choose My Plate. Starchy vegetables are a little higher in carbohydrates than other vegetables and are an excellent source of energy. The Choose My Plate recommends that adult men consume about 8 cups of starchy vegetables per week, and women about 5 cups. For our gluten-free friends, you might be able to substitute quinoa flour in place of the all-purpose flour. Many gluten-free products combine potato or rice with the gluten-free flours. So this makes a perfect opportunity to try those gluten-free flours and produce a pasta that is gluten-free.
Hi, and then we're back again here at the Institute of Culinary Arts. Thank you again, Mary, for your always good advice. And I'm not sure if you know, but usually after we finish talking with Mary, we add butter.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what we do.
Yes. So what do you got here, Mike?
Butter's good.
Butter is good.
This dish off. So basically, I got a pan that's kind of that's heating up right now. It's a non-stick pan. It's not important that you use a non-stick pan, but you got to use a well-seasoned pan.
Yep.
And mostly because these gnocchi have been poached, and as you can see, they haven't really grown or anything, and there's not a lot of leavener in them.
Yep.
But we just poached them until they're done. They've started to float, and so now we're going to finish them. You can do this a day ahead of time too.
Perfect. So if you're doing like a big party, do them ahead.
Oh, for sure.
That way it's just whop, 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 put it out,
That's
people
right.
are happy.
That's what we do in
Love
the
it.
restaurants. We do a batch of these, and then when a customer orders them, we get them going and we saute them. We're going to put a little bit of brown on them, which is a little bit of flavor too, and we're going to use
Beautiful.
whole butter. So we want whole butter in there. We're not going to use clarified butter or anything like that because we don't want oil running off the plate.
Yeah. You know what they say, right?
What's
if
that?
in doubt, butter it out.
That's right. Don't listen to this, Mary.
She hates us.
Okay, so just gonna kind of swirl this around in the pan here. I'm not letting it get too hot because I don't want it to break. I'm gonna add this gnocchi to
Beautiful.
the pan, and then just maybe a single layer here. And really, all I'm going
Beautiful.
to do is I'm just going to let it. I'm gonna turn this about a medium high, and so I'm just gonna let it kind of saute here, and not really saute, but I'm gonna let it kind of crisp up so it gets a little bit of brown on there and develops a
Beautiful.
little bit of flavor and texture, so that way they're not doughy tasting. They got a little bit of crunch to them.
So you get like a little crunchy, poofy potato pillow
Exactly.
type thing.
That's the whole idea of these things.
I love crunchy pillows.
And
Delicious.
yes. And so what I'm also
excited.
going to do is I'm going to add some tomatoes now, just so they can kind of cook out a little bit and they're not whole, just big old uncooked tomatoes. So, and that's fine to add them now as well. We can even do the same with kale. You can do kale. You can add kale close to last.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time to add a little bit of crunch. But you can also add it now and get a little bit of crispness on it. And
Because
I
like with this older kale, maybe it needs to kind of stew a little bit to
Exactly.
soften it up. Perfect.
And this is from out in our garden.
Yeah.
And so, and this went a little over. It's a little hard.
Yeah.
Harder than what it normally would be, a little tougher. But that's perfectly fine. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with it.
But like you can also use like spinach or Swiss chard. Like
Exactly.
you can mix this up. Like you can kind of make it your own. Like you can be adding eggplant, zucchinis. Like
Now you can add anything you want to.
Yeah.
This is just what we had in house. So that was fresh and.
yeah, it was what was done at the garden. And
Exactly.
then we just I
So
love
we're gonna
it.
add these two, and then we're also going to add some red pepper. to it
Beautiful.
As well.
So those one you just got roasted them and peeled them this eaten.
Yep,
Beautiful.
so all we did is we just roasted this and put a little bit of oil on it. Oh, so a little bit, maybe a little salt and pepper.
Scooby.
And then we just put it in the oven about 400 degrees. And it's almost ready to go here.
It's beautiful.
And then we'll be ready to plate. You can see how it's starting to kind of brown up already.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
That's what you want, a little bit of browning on there. See that?
It's gorgeous.
And so I'm going to hit it with a little bit of salt,
I love salt.
a little bit of pepper, freshly ground pepper. And then last, I like to add herbs last because they will tend to cook out and you want that flavor, depending if you want a stronger flavor of herbs or not.
Yeah,
That's when you start to add them last here.
gorgeous.
So I am going to add a little bit of chives to it.
Beautiful.
So
Well, with those kind of finish up and get a little color, we got a ricotta here. So this one we just let sit and drain. This one drained for about half hour. You see it's fairly firm, but it's still got a little bit of give to it. If I were to let this one sit overnight, like it would crumble. We could add it to salads and stuff like that.
actually, it's beautiful. It's nice.
Oh.
For this dish, I think
Oh,
it's perfect. It's
Because
nice and creamy.
like there's no sauce, so like the creaminess of the cheese will kind of lend itself to a little get sauciness,
Right.
which will be nice. So season this one up. I just got a little bit of chopped parsley and chives. Just gonna dump that in there. There's really no like the amount you put in there depends how much flavor you want out of it. You can use different kind of herbs, like
Sure.
whatever you have around. You can even make it sweet. Like you can do all sorts of funny stuff with this cheese. It's just wonderful. I got a little bit of extra virgin olive oil.
Well,
'Cause it's
Why the
delicious.
extra virgin olive oil?
I just really like the flavor with it, and it'll just kind of make the cheese almost like a cheese spread.
Sure.
And I just love that flavor. Right, but the cheese itself before it's seasoned is just very flat.
It is flat.
So it just tastes like weird milk and cream. But after you season it up, like it can be all sorts of wonderful things.
Awesome.
Like it's
so
wonderful.
You can do sweet and savory.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Ricotta.
Oh yeah. Like if you sweeten it up, it will almost be like a mascarpone. Like it's super wonderful.
Which is an Italian, like a 4-cream Italian cheese.
Exactly. Exactly. So just a little bit of salt and pepper in there. You gotta season everything. And I'm just gonna stir that up.
Wow, looks great. Nice and creamy.
Oh, it's gonna be delicious. I'm gonna eat all of it. I'm not even gonna share with you, Mike. I'm sorry.
We can invite Mary to have some of this too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna mount it with butter though first. When I say mount it with butter, basically I'm just gonna add a little bit of whole butter in here. Just like Øystein said, there's no sauce to it.
Yeah.
Really, it's all basically just vegetables, and it's all kind of a natural.
Oh, that's looking
from
gorgeous.
here. It looks special. It does looks very good.
You sound surprised, Mike.
I know. I've made gnocchi 1,000 times. It shouldn't be. Okay, so
That's gorgeous.
let's see. We're gonna plate this guy here. So basically,
Beautiful.
we're going to look at these beautiful colors here too. This beautiful gnocchi.
And it's just a good dish that fits really any time of year. Because like you can use fall vegetables, you can spring vegetables, summer vegetables.
And
like,
winter too. And gnocchi
Oh.
is really good for winter. And if you
For sure.
With nice, heavier sauces, you can do meat sauces on
You
it.
can do like ragus and stuff like that. Oh yeah. Oh, now I'm really getting hungry. Then just gonna do some dollops of the ricotta on there. Just do some. It's a very rustic dish. Just do some dollops here and there. Like however much you want, just put it on there. Like if you don't want to make ricotta, you can always just grate some Parmesan on there. Like you can do whatever you want with it. It's a wonderful, wonderful dish. Yeah. So I think it's time to eat.
Dig in.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Mike, for helping
Thank you.
us
Thanks for
put this
having me.
together, and let's dig in.
All right.
See you guys.